What's up everybody, TJ here. Welcome back to another snowboard review. In this video, we are going to be talking about a legendary board in the Burton lineup. We got the Custom X. Let's get into it. All right guys, real quick for your reference before I jump into the tech, I'm 5'10", I weigh 155 pounds, and I tested this board in size 154. Now the Custom X is going to be an all-mountain freestyle focused board in the Burton lineup. It's got the same geometry as the time-tested king of versatility, the Burton Custom, but it's supercharged. This is the hardest charging board Burton makes, and that's self-proclaimed by Burton. So you know this thing is going to be stiff, it's going to be powerful, it's going to be a very capable high-end snowboard with some nice versatility in the design as well. So let's get into what that looks like. First of all, the overall design is going to be a directional twin design. So between the contact points, this thing is true twin, going to ride exactly the same and feel exactly the same in either direction. But you got a little bit more material in the nose outside the contact points. Not a ton, but a little bit out there, and that's really going to be the only thing to give this board a slight benefit in softer snow conditions. Other than that, at the reference stance, you are going to get a little bit of a setback, about a 1/2 inch or 12.5 millimeter setback. So if you do set this up at the reference, just know that you are a little bit closer to the tail. And if you want to ride this thing centered up like a true twin, just scoot those bindings 1/2 inch forward and you'll be right in the middle there. There's no taper in this snowboard, so the tail is the same width as the nose, and it runs a full true camber profile. This thing is just straight traditional camber, contact point to contact point. Has a pretty significant camber to it as well. It's going to come through with that classic, powerful, precise, and energetic feel that you'd expect out of positive camber. And with the stiffness you're going to find in this snowboard, it really highlights that feel. This thing has a lot of energy and a lot of precision to offer. You are going to get quite a bit of carbon fiber built into the layup of this snowboard as well, which is a lightweight additive that you see in a lot of snowboards nowadays, and basically just going to help amplify the pop and the snap and the overall energy without really increasing the weight very much. And the Custom X has a lot of that built into it. You are of course also going to find the channel system in the Custom X here. So that's what you see right here where you're going to mount your bindings. So you get unlimited stance width options as a nice benefit, and still compatible with every major binding out there. And the last thing I want to highlight is this board does come equipped with a high-end sintered base material. It's harder, more durable, and faster compared to an extruded base. You do want to make sure to wax it regularly to maintain a nice, consistent, fast glide through the season. I wax my boards about every 3 or 4 times that I ride, and that keeps it nice and fast out there. So that's it for a quick tech breakdown here on the Custom X. Let's jump into the review. Let's jump into the review talking about the flex and feel you're going to find in this one. So with this being the hardest charging board that Burton makes, you know it's stiff, and I agree with that. This is a pretty stiff snowboard, has a lot of stability, has a lot of precision, and it's really a board that's going to be there for you when you need that stability. It's a board where you're probably going to be able to find the limits of your legs before you find the limits of the snowboard. And I think the way that translates to butters and flat ground tricks, which is something I like to do on every board to really give it a good feel and really understand the flex. This isn't a board you're going to buy to sit in a tail press, that's for sure. You can have a lot of fun with butters, but going to be more fun for the types of more like ground tricks where you're loading up energy in the board and using that to launch yourself into the air, maybe doing like a nollie 3, trying a 360 compass, you know, alling in the air, doing a tail drag, all that kind of stuff. You can definitely still get it done, but when it comes to just getting flex and pressing the board, since it is so stiff and it has that traditional camber, you really got to shift your weight a lot more outside the bindings that you might expect. And it kind of changes the balance point. It pushes that out much closer to the contact points. The butter that worked for me the most was actually a front one switch tail press. I was able to get that one feeling pretty good and get some decent flex out of the board. But as you'll see in the clips, my foot is actually not on the snow. It's lifted up because I'm balancing kind of right here at the contact point. So it's a little bit tricky, takes a little bit of getting used to, but you can definitely still get it done out there with ground tricks and butters. This board is going to deliver a ton of pop, a lot of energy. I would say an explosive pop. I think that's fair for this one. Pretty much anything you load up in this board, it's given back to you and is a lot of fun for launching yourself in the air. All right, now I was able to take this board through some laps out at Copper. I also spent some time at Mammoth on this thing. And when it comes to riding in the terrain park or just riding with a more freestyle mentality, I think that this board is definitely more jump leaning. It's got stability for days, it's got pop for days. You can point this thing at the biggest features you can find, the biggest gaps, the biggest jumps. It's gonna have your back in those scenarios. Or if you're someone who's maybe trying to get into riding pipe, this is gonna be a natural choice as well. I know Raibu on the Burton team rides this thing, and you know, if it can hold up to the type of hits that that kid's doing in the pipe, I think that says a lot about the stability that's gonna come through for you. And that's not to say that this board isn't going to be fun on the jibs. I think it just rides like a stiffer park board. So, you know, if you spent much time in the terrain park on a few different boards, you know things like presses are going to be a little bit more work. Doing those techie tricks where that torsional flex comes more into play. Isn't going to be as comfortable at slower speeds. It's definitely geared more towards going fast and going big, but I did some mini shred at Mammoth. It still had a pretty good feel to it. The torsional flex is actually a little bit more manageable than lengthwise on this thing. Still pretty stiff though, but I think if you are more experienced in the park, you're still going to have a great time using this thing as more of an all-arounder, or you know, if you're using this board to progress with, it's definitely going to be a solid choice to work towards those true expert levels of park riding. But if you're more of an intermediate rider, this is going to be more than you need for your progression. You know, unless you're maybe using this as a more all mountain board and terrain park is secondary. All right, let's talk about carving and ripping the resort. So that's going to be an area where I think this board does really excel. I always like to highlight the waist width, which at size 154 is going to be 25 centimeters, pretty average, and the side cut as well. So at this size, you're going to get a 7.6 meter side cut. Again, pretty average, pretty versatile, going to feel comfy at a wide variety of speeds, whether you're just doing some more mellow cruisers or you're really trying to open this thing up. I will say, if you're the type of rider that does enjoy playing with carves, you're working on Euro carves, revert carves, doing really deep turns, digging trenches, that width is definitely something to consider. Or if you have a larger boot size, you know, maybe look at a wide option of this snowboard. But this thing is a pleasure out there. This is a board that is a beast on the groomers. You can just open it up, go as fast as you can go, and it's gonna stay solid underfoot. It's gonna hold a very strong edge, that traditional camber, that stiff flex, very noticeable. Gonna rip in more firm conditions, not gonna be an issue for you. I think you're gonna really enjoy it out there, even when you open it up. And as far as the rest of the resort, you know, if you like exploring, maybe getting into alpine, getting into some steep techie situations, got plenty of stability for you in there as well. Very nimble edge to edge, no chatter, even as you really start bombing hills on this thing. And yeah, like I said, comfy at a wide variety of speeds. So I think pretty versatile when it comes to ripping the resort, but does have that slightly more aggressive, more advanced, precise feel to it. All right, and in summary with the Custom X, overall, this thing is definitely a more advanced, aggressive feeling snowboard. If you're the type of rider that is going to be taking this thing into the park on a regular basis, definitely going to be a good tool to help you push towards those expert levels of progression. Or if you're already at that level and you just want something that's powerful, you're never going to be feeling like you're lacking stability or energy, this is going to be a go-to choice. Or like I mentioned before, if you're trying to get in the pipe, you want to be like Raibu, you want to be like Kaishu and those guys, this is going to help you reach for that as well. Or if you're just looking for just like a great all-around all mountain board, something with a lot of stability and that feels confident even at high speeds or in sketchier, more technical, steep situations, this board's going to come through there as well. So I think this is a really solid, more aggressive board that for the right type of rider could work great as just an all-arounder. Definitely going to be a very capable all-mountain and resort board as well, but definitely comes through with a lot of precision and a lot of power. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I'm gonna have this snowboard linked down below this video so it's easy for you to find, as well as a link to the latest issue of Snowboard Magazine. So please make sure to go check that out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching today. If you got some value, please drop a like before you leave. Consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any of our reviews, and I'll see you in a new one next time. Thanks, guys.